Thank you very much for assembling this evening. We are again very fortunate to have the Holy Association of His Grace Radha Gopinath Prabhu and His Grace Damodar Prabhu. Today they will be speaking on the topic of devotee care. So let us be in rapt attention. All the phones should be on vibrator mode, please. Please check your phones, make sure they're on vibrator mode. All the kids, you can play, but be safe. Don't go on the road. Don't talk to strangers. And when you come back, you quietly sit and listen, okay? Be safe. Take care of each other. Be together. And so let's be in rapt attention. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
And just move forward because more devotees will be coming. So then there will be no space. So let's move closer. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Radhika Shri Vishakam Vitamsha Shri Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, it is our great pleasure, great honor to be with you all this evening. I'd like to thank Adigadadar Prabhu, Mother Radha Bhava, Devi, Amarendra Prabhu and his good wife Swastika Devi. They are hosting all of us, hosting both of us. Especially for this evening, I'd like to thank Sanatan Nitai Prabhu and his good wife Namarasa Devi for hosting all of us in their home, in their hearts. So, topic for we are going to discuss about devotee care today. We have been traveling to give devotee care course, which is 21-hour long course. But we also thought of giving some short talks about devotee care. So I will speak about few qualities which we can see in our acharyas when they show their care for others. There is a statement which says, I don't care how much you know till I know how much you care. So therefore, a person may know a lot, but we want to know how much a person cares. So this is the important aspect. This is actually, when we talk of devotee care, it is another is an aspect of Vaishnava Seva, right? That we are sensitive to the needs, to the concerns, the overall well-being of the devotees around us. So devotee care is not just that, now that we have to start one department and the whole community, our responsibility. Just, the devotees whom we are living with, those who are on the left of us, right of us, we have a caring attitude towards them. So we'll discuss three important qualities which we should individually and collectively, individually as an individual devotee, or collectively as a society, or as a leader, or as a Bhakti Vriksha preacher, we should try to imbibe these qualities and be more of a caring person. Even if we think we are a caring person, we can actually be more caring. There is always scope of improving, going ahead. So we'll discuss three qualities of a caring person or a caring leader. So, and these three qualities will acronym to the word care. So for us to remember also. So the first thing is, in care, the C word stands for culture. Culture of appreciation. The first thing, appreciation. I remember Peter Barwash Prabhu, he is the Srila Prabhupada disciple. Although he did not formally accept initiation, but he lived his life as per teachings of Prabhupada. He's right here from US, and some time back he left his body, but he used to be a keynote speaker in a Festival of Inspiration at New Vrindavan. Keynote speaker means that when he speaks, all the other people, all there present, there are no parallel sessions. So Festival of Inspiration will have 8-10 parallel sessions. So different Maharajas, Swamis are giving session, and there will be parallel session going on, whoever wants to attend wherever. But when keynote speaker speaks, everyone assembles, including all the Maharajas and Sannyasis. So on a Festival of Inspiration, he would be a keynote speaker. He was very well respected because, though not formally initiated, Prabhupada disciples would sit to hear from him. Because he imbibed the teaching of Prabhupada in his own life. And he preached through his books, his character, his life. He was preaching through his behavior. So he once came to Bombay, and he was traveling, and he had to undergo surgery, heart surgery. And I would take some healthy prasadam for him to the hospital. The doctors advise certain healthy foodstuffs. So the hospitals, canteen has a limitation, and they don't really cook very tasty. Healthy means bland. So I'd cook something tasty for him, which is also healthy. So I would take to him, and he would appreciate a lot. And one day he told me, I told him, I said, look, you're so appreciative of small things. I told him. Then he told me himself a story that how, he said, a maid came today morning to clean my room, and she did a good job. Nicely broomed the room, she mopped the room. And I thanked her, I said, oh, you have done such a fantastic job of cleaning my room. Thank you so much. The way he thanked her, she broke into tears. Because she said, I have never received such appreciation in my whole life. No one has ever thanked me. I am sweeping, brooming for the last 35 years. No one has ever expressed such heartfelt appreciation for my work. I want to speak of heartfelt appreciation. No one ever said thank you to her. She does her job regular thing. So she broke into tears. And I remember even I served him for a while. Even when he recovered, he went back to US. He sent me a thanks letter and a gift from US. in an appreciation letter and a pen of appreciation with my name written on it. Thank you Damodar, something like that. I remember very personalized gift, very personalized letter. He sent me from US also. So he had really, I had even myself had never seen such deep appreciation which he carried in his heart, and which inspired people like anything. Which when someone knows, okay, my little service makes a difference to somebody, people are really inspired. It gives them purpose of living. Otherwise, people feel so lonely. They sometimes feel, my living or my presence or absence, it doesn't matter to anyone. Whether I live or die, it doesn't make any difference to anyone. So therefore people undergo depression. But if you tell somebody, your living or your presence is so valuable to me, it gives people a sense of purpose and so much motivation. So this is an important quality that we appreciate. We are very good at correcting people. It is not proper, this is not proper. It's fine, we can do that, but it should be balanced with appreciation also. We should have appreciation. And we can appreciate even small things. Just like I told you, how she just nicely broomed and mopped the room, just nicely cleansed the room. He had so much appreciation. This is the nature of the Supreme Lord also. So it is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Ishvara sabhava bhaktera nalaye aparad alpa seva bahu mane atma paryan prasad. What is the nature of our beloved Lord? Ishvara sabhav bhaktera nalaye aparad. He doesn't consider offense or a fault to be very serious. Alpa seva bahumane. And he considers small service to be big. Atma Paryan Prasad. And he rewards that his devotees by giving himself, by giving his own abode, by sharing his opulences. Therefore the nature of Lord is that he minimizes the mistakes and magnifies the good. If there is any fault, he doesn't consider seriously. It's fine. It's okay. Everyone can commit mistake. Anyone can do wrong. Because this world is full of faults. We all have shortcomings. To see the shortcoming, it's not a big thing. It's very obvious. It's there. But to see a good, and magnify that good, that is the greatness. So therefore we should learn from the Lord's own nature. We should neglect the fault or minimize it, but magnify the good in others and appreciate it. So this is important quality of a person who is caring. Prabhupada writes in purport of Canto 7th, chapter 5th, verse 12, he says, everyone should be friendly for the service of the Lord. Everyone should praise another's service to the Lord and not be proud of his own service. This is the way of Vaishnava thinking, Vaikuntha thinking. So Prabhupada is giving, this is culture of appreciation, is a culture of Vaikuntha. So if we want to go back to Krishna's abode, we have to learn what is the culture of that place. If we live like that, then we become qualified to go there. Here we have to practice that how the people in the spiritual world live. And then it's very easy for us to make the transition. So this is Vaikuntha thinking. And yes, Prabhupada himself exemplified that. He writes, His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj writes, how when Prabhupada met his parents, he praised his parents, Prabhupada. He appreciated them. He appreciated his father. He was in a big position that, I can see that your son is so intelligent because you are so intelligent. And then he looked towards his mother and he said, oh, Mrs. Teeton, you look so young. And Prabhupada just appreciated that you look so young. And her heart just melted by Prabhupada's appreciation. And they both felt, our son is in very good hands. So they were scared initially, but then they felt so confident just by a small interaction with Prabhupada, because he had that, they could see his heart from his few statements and how he appreciated them. So this is the culture of appreciation. The second important quality is the quality of respect. We are discussing three qualities, which acronyms to the word care. Culture of appreciation. Second is respect. So now Vaishnav culture is a culture of respect to others. It is also a very important quality of respecting anyone and everyone. And Mahaprabhu also has said, Amanina Manadena. We should respect. It's fine, if there is some nice senior devotee, and then we respect that person. But even if somebody has done some fault, has committed some mistake, we should still respect that person as a devotee and not take pleasure in propagating the mistakes or blunders the person may have committed. Anyone can commit some mistake or so on, do something wrong. We should not start talking about, gossiping about, spreading the news of people. Even some senior devotees may commit something which is not correct or which is not approved by the scriptures, etc. So just to give an example, Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma, he created the twilight, considered to be his own daughter, and he became attracted toward the twilight in a sensuous way. His grandson started laughing at Brahma's behavior. They thought, what kind of behavior is this? So they laughed at him. And that was a disrespectful behavior. Though Lord Brahma is, acting inappropriately, it's like a very breach of proper behavior. But still, because he's a great personality, it's not that we can just pass comments, remarks, or laugh at anyone. So while they laughed, it considered that because of that offense, even though Brahma was doing wrong, but they disrespected him because he's a great personality. Because of their disrespect, they had to become demons. On the other hand, the sons of Brahmaji understood his elevated position and they just folded their hand and said, Dear father, please check yourself. This behavior will not set a good example for others. And Brahmaji immediately checked himself. And he rectified himself. And he was again situated in his position of being a father to all living entities and a guide. So Brahmaji could overcome his fault very easily, but the fault of offending Brahmaji, even though he was doing wrong, they had to suffer much more because of that offense. So disrespect to great personality brings about disaster. So therefore there is a culture of respect. Even if we disagree with somebody, we have to learn to be respectful. Even if we disagree, we have to learn to be respectful. Just like you see how Prabhupada, he was staying in Dr. Mishra's studio in New York, and Prabhupada totally disagreed with his philosophy. He was an impersonalist. But Prabhupada still was respectful in his dealings, to the extent that he cooked for Dr. Mishra when he was sick and nurtured him to good health. You see the culture of respect. So Giriraj Swami Maharaj, he once asked Prabhupada, he said, Prabhupada, I have noticed that when you talk about the scientist, you use the word nonsense, bluffer, cheater, and rascal. Prabhupada's favorite word. So Giriraj Maharaj asked, and you also say that I'll kick them in the face with my boots. Right? Very heavily speak. So, can we use such language while we meet and preach to the scientists? Giriraj Maharaj asked Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, no, you should speak like a gentleman. Right? That means you deal with them like a gentleman. You can't just, we can't even actually imitate also Prabhupada. So we have to be respectful in our dealings. So Prabhupada was not disrespect towards to them. He was just matching their philosophy. But he would be cordial with any person, if you see. He would be respectful. Chaitanya Charitamrita, our highest scripture, gives example of a king from Padma Puran. His name is King Bhagarath. It's not Bhagirath, Bhagarath. Chaitanya Charitamrita gives example. There was a king. Haroritim Vahannesha Narendranam Shikhamani. He was Narendranam Shikhamani, the crest jewel among the kings. And he had Haroratim Vahannesha. He carried affection for Krishna within his heart. He came to the stage of bhava basically. He developed the initial stages of love for Krishna. Right? So Rati is that stage. So he carried the Rati for Krishna within his heart. What was his symptom? What was his characteristic? Bhikshamatan Aripure Shopakam api vandate. He later renounced everything, this king, and he would beg in the enemy of his kingdom also, and he would offer his respects even to the dog eaters. Can you imagine? So a Vaishnava is respectful even to one's enemy and even to dog eaters. What to speak of other devotees? So how we have to learn that we should not speak, act or do anything which hurts others, which is disrespectful to others. I want to give an example. There was a big festival, happening in a temple at Vrindavan Dham, and there were so many people, crowding, and there was some crowd control devotees. They started shouting and pushing people. Get away from here. And some people really felt very upset about it. And they said, how you speak, you are wearing this of a sadhu and you're pushing and shouting at people. So they felt very hurt. Probably that was needed or not needed, whatever. But to give one counter example of this, it is described that when Lord Chaitanya would go to take darshan of Jagannath, so many people would crowd around him. They wanted to be with him, touch him, take this from him. His servant Kashishwar Pandit was his servant. He would not let anyone come near to Mahaprabhu. He was very firm but very respectful to all. He would not let anyone come near, but he would not shout or offend anyone. So you see that how we may have to do any service, but we have to be sensitive, not to disrespect people, even in times of when they are misbehaving or whatever, etc., etc. So we have to be careful always to not to act or speak in a way which is disrespectful to anyone, because Vaishnava culture is a culture of respect. There was one devotee who observed. There were some senior devotees. There was one new devotee. He was raised in a traditional family, and he saw some other devotees who were quite senior. They were doing things, or sometime honoring prasad. They may have touched their juta hand on their clothes or something like that. He said, these devotees don't know the Vedic culture. Prabhupada called them malechhas. They don't know how to act, how to conduct themselves in a Vedic way. They have to be trained. So he kind of passed some critical remarks, disrespectful remarks. It came to the notice of Radha Swami Maharaj. And then he said he is actually criticizing those who have done so much service, who are much senior to him. his remarks are most non-Vedic. He is saying they are not acting as per Vedic culture, but his criticism is most non-Vedic, because Vedic culture means first is culture of respect. So if his disrespect itself shows he has not understood the Vedic culture. So like that. So therefore, we should understand that it's not that we can just pass remark at somebody, disrespect, criticize, point out faults. Their devotees have done so much service. Even if they leave the movement and commit something blunderous, it's not that we can, point out fingers and describe what they have done and so on. Consider ourselves to be advanced. Still, we should respect them. We may not follow their example, but still they have done great service. We should respect them for that. So therefore, the Vaishnava culture is a culture of respect. That is second quality, culture of appreciation, respect. And the third quality is the culture of empathy. Empathy. So we have heard the word sympathy, more common word. Sympathy means, I understand your pain. I'm sympathetic. While empathy means I feel your pain. Just like we may say, oh, poor person. But when the child is suffering, mother doesn't say, oh, poor child. No, mother feels the pain. She doesn't just sympathize. She is affected by the pain. That is empathy. So we should feel the pain of other devotees. When other devotees, are in difficulty in some way or the other, we should feel their pain in our heart. To give an example, Prabhupada was going in a car in Chennai, and on a bus stop there were 50 people standing waiting for bus under the hot sun. Seeing that, there was a tear in Prabhupada's eyes. How living entities, the part and parcel of Krishna, how they are suffering, standing in the hot sun without any shade. There was a tear in his eyes. I remember when His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, he was admitted in the hospital, he was in ICU in 2015. There were oxygen mask on his face and the tubes going in and out of the body. And there was an earthquake in Nepal. And he came to know. And he understood the earthquake in Nepal. Immediately he became so much concerned. He said, tell me about the news of Nepal devotees. What has there been lost to the temple? Are the devotees safe? What about the deities? I hope everything is fine, and so on. So he immediately became very concerned, inquired how the things going on, and the devotee is well, devotee is safe. Same when he was in the ICU, and the next bed the patient about to leave the body. He came to know about the patient leaving the body. And he said, oh, patient leaving the body, bring tape of Prabhupada, play near that person's ears. He was oxygen mask and himself is ICU. But immediately as soon as this person is about to leave the body, arranged for Prabhupada's tape to be played. Then he told the devotees who were serving him, I'm okay, go and read chapter 12 Bhagavad Gita to that patient. Or to leave the body. So, their compassion, their empathy towards the living entities is actually very amazing. So, to conclude, I will narrate a small incident from where I learned this quality from Radha Swami Maharaj. He once visited Nasik temple, and in the temple garden there was a nice fountain. And beneath the fountain there was Krishna dancing on the hoods of Kaliya. It is the most common Krishna fountain many temples have. Kaliya Krishna, there is a pond beneath. So Maharaj looked at the fountain, nice fountain, there is a pond beneath. And in the pond there was a turtle. Maharaj saw the turtle was floating. Then after some time the turtle wanted to sit. And the turtle sat on a round water pipe which circulates the water. Pipe going below the fountain comes, the water circulates. So round pipe. The turtle was sitting on the pipe and turtle was slipping over. The round pipe, you try to sit on a round pipe, not a comfortable place. Maharaj saw that the turtle is finding difficult to sit on the round pipe. He noticed. Then he called the temple president. He said, look, this turtle, he's also temple resident. You are temple president and he is temple resident. Your duty is to provide comfortable place even for him to sit. He is not having a comfortable place. He was shocked. She asked him, Prabhu, devotee care. To what extent, to what extent the devotee care applies, he had no idea. Maharaj said, he is also temple resident. So provide some nice place for him to sit, this turtle. He said, yes, Maharaj, we will make nice simhasan for him within the water pond. So fine. So next day morning, Maharaj gave a class and again called Shastaka Prabhu and said, have you arranged the place? Second shock to him. Should it be done overnight? It's like so urgent, such a priority. Maharaj expected that it should be done as soon as possible. But it was not done. So then he said, unless you provide a comfortable sitting place for the turtle, my heart will be in great agony. My heart will be in great agony. My heart will be in pain that one resident in the temple is uncomfortable. Right? He is not having a proper place to even sit. So we should be sensitive to the needs of everyone around us. I remember, Radha Gopinath Prabhu tells the story of how one Mataji, she would regularly come from the temple, she would translate. She stopped coming suddenly. What happened, Why she stopped coming? No one even bothered to ask. Once Maharaj asked. Radhanath Maharaj asked, what happened? I don't see you. She said, Maharaj, I can't sit down now. In the temple hall we had no chair. We just assumed everyone sit down. And she stopped coming and Maharaj became immediately concerned, now there's a need, there's a genuine need. He immediately arranged, not just chairs, sofas. Make nice sofas, which are also beautiful with the carved wood and everything, temple hall decorum. We make the sofas. And then more chairs were made when more devotees and so on. Then now we put some carpet and extra chairs, etc. So the need is there. We have to be, we have to have that sensitivity and empathy. As devotees, this is the need. So, a small pastime of another beautiful pastime of Prabhupada on the same empathy. Prabhupada was sitting in his room and then he told his servant, he said, do you see in that corner? And he could not see anything. Prabhupada said, look carefully, there is one insect over there. And the servant found, there is an insect crawling. Slowly, that long green worm was crawling. Prabhupada said, he is wandering. He is confused. He is hungry. Pick him up and put it on a leaf of the plant on the window. So he had fallen. And he didn't know, where to go, left, right, confused, hungry. Put him on the leaf of a plant carefully. And someone was shocked. How here is an Acharya leading the worldwide movement, guiding thousands of devotees. But he is understanding and careful about even a small insect. That even small insect should be properly situated. Should be well. So this is actually in the vision of devotee care is that all the devotees are materially well situated. It doesn't mean a luxurious situation, but they are situated in such a way that they feel inspired, encouraged, protected to serve Krishna throughout the life, to serve the movement of Prabhupada. So that's the understanding of being properly situated. So while leading a great worldwide movement, Prabhupada was careful to see that even an insect is properly situated. So this is the Vaishnava culture of appreciation, respect and empathy. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Please get Radha Gopinath Prabhu to further speak.
Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave. So Damodar Prabhu was speaking about culture of care. I would like to share some thoughts from a book that was written by His Holiness Niranjan Swami Maharaj called Taking Care of Krishna's Devotees. And he himself, once I was appreciating that content of the book, which I had read and made into a seminar presentation. So he said, out of his humility, that actually the book sold more for the title than the content. Meaning, how important is this subject matter for devotees? Just seeing that people purchased, a lot of books were practically like sold out. So that's like the need for care. So in that book, he talks of two principles that are kind of essential for care. He says, so really what does it mean to care for someone? So he quotes a verse from the 6th canto, 9th chapter, 43rd verse. So, where all the powerful devatas who are in the war tortured by Vratrasura, they're about to practically lose, and therefore they run to take shelter of the Supreme Lord and literally fall at his feet and beg for protection. And then they say that, my Lord, your lotus feet are the only shelter which gives relief from all the material miseries. And therefore we are coming to take shelter at your lotus feet. And Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that imagine if you are walking on a hot sand on a summer day. The sun is shining on top of your head, sweating, your feet is burning because of the hot sand. Your whole existence is drying up. And then you happen to come in the shade of a tree, huge tree, cool shade of a huge tree. Without asking for relief, you get relief just by walking under the shade of the tree. Similarly, the devatas are saying that, my Lord, your lotus feet is that shelter. And we are seeking that shelter at your feet. So, then he quotes, Srila Prabhupada in that lecture, quotes how when Prahlad approaches his father, Hiranyakashipu, who is extremely powerful, he has brought, what to speak of the demons, but practically the whole universe under his control, except the three powerful devatas, Brahma, Vishnu and Lord Shiva. All of them are under his control. And extremely powerful. But he is in tremendous anxiety because Prahlad, his little 5-year-old boy, is not coming under his control. So he is very disturbed. Prahlad approaches him, and when Hiranyakashipu asks him, what is the best thing you have learnt in school? So he says, Tat sadhu manye asuravarya, O best of the asuras. You know, this may seem insult for someone else, but it's a compliment for Hiranyakashipu, because he is the best of the asuras. So he said, Asuravarya, Sada samudvigna dhyam asat grahat. Sada, matlab, always. Udvigna means anxiety. Samudvigna means sufficient anxiety. Lot of anxiety. Sada samudvigna dhyam. Oh, best of the asura, you conquered the whole universe practically. But I see that you are in tremendous anxiety. Why? Asat grahat. You have taken shelter of something that is asat, which is temporary. And therefore, you are in anxiety. So, we are eternal. The soul is eternal. And anything that the soul takes shelter of for relief, if that is temporary, then you are in anxiety. The only thing that can, even before that, let me ask you, what are the things people take shelter of in this world to find relief from anxiety, distress, disturbance? What do people take shelter of? Pardon? Alcohol. Yeah. Money. Pardon? Food. Food, yeah. Take shelter of food.
Some entertainment for distraction.
Entertainment, just to distract themselves, forget about that anxiety or the trouble that they have in their mind. But relatives, meditation. In India, they take shelter of so many devatas, So pray that, they may be relieved from that anxiety or whatever disturbance that is they are affected by. So Prabhupada writes in that purport, nothing in this world can give permanent shelter, because bhutva praliyate, everything in this world has a beginning and an end. And therefore, for an eternal soul, nothing temporary can ever give shelter. And therefore there is anxiety. Deep inside there is a dormant anxiety. They know anything can happen anytime. And every situation can become completely out of control. So therefore they are in anxiety. So, 3 things are permanent in this world. 3 things are eternal. The Lord is eternal. Sanatanastvam paramo mato me. The living entity is eternal. Natpevaham jatunasam natpam nime. Janadhipa. Nachevana bhavishyam sarve vayam yad. Matra sprashasnyo dehinosmen yatha deh kaumaram tatha dehantara praptir dhiras tatra muhyati. He doesn't because he knows that the soul is eternal, and the third thing that is eternal is the relationship with the Lord. Mamaivamsho jiva loke jiva bhutah sanatana. So the Lord is eternal, the living entity is eternal, and the relationship of the Lord with the living entity What is that relationship? Jiver Surup Hoy, Krishna and Nitya Das. The living entity is a part and parcel of the Lord. He is eternally meant to serve the Lord. And when that living entity is engaged in service of the Lord, Neha Bhikramana Pratyavayona Vidyate Swalpamapyasya Dharmasya Trayate. That is Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana means eternal, Dharma means occupation or situation. So only this is eternal. And anything else potentially has the source potential to give anxiety. And therefore, really to take care of devotees, to give them relief from anxiety and to give them assurance of fearlessness, etc. Ultimately, you can really, abhaidam, people say, na? Ma shocha. People take shelter, some powerful person, so that they can get protection. Why people take shelter of the police from the criminals? So that ma shocha, don't worry. So the best way to give care for someone is give them that fearlessness. We can't give because we ourselves are fearful. Bhayam dvitiya vinivesha tasya. So therefore, who are we to give? But if we can inspire them to take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, Bhajahure mana Shri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Charana Ravindare. So, truly to take care means to somehow facilitate that person to engage in devotional service. 9 process of devotional service. Then automatically deep inside there is this fearlessness. I remember a few years ago there was one devotee from Russia, maybe just 32, 33-year-old, very, very powerful and successful book distributor. He was too good, just like Mahotsaha Prabhu. I heard that.
Yes.
Atlanta, he does that. Sells books like that. So this person was known there to distribute a lot of books, and later suddenly in a few years he was detected with cancer, and the doctors told him maximum you can have about 2 months or something to live. So he decided to come to Vrindavan. We have His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj at that time has established this hospice recently at that time. So he came to stay there. He decided to give up his body in Vrindavan. And when devotees came to know that, they would go and visit him and do kirtan for him. And a lot of people would carry some fruits, tender coconut water, whatever. And they would go with a very straight face, very sober, to console him. But when they went inside, the effulgent smile that they saw on his face, and the ways he was so enthusiastically preaching to them, they came out thinking, who is the patient and who is going to visit him? He was so effulgent and so full of energy and life, trying to preach, What's anywhere, anybody is going to go? Just take shelter of the holy name. So that was amazing. So some of the devotees were telling how they found so much inspiration just by being near him, just to see him and hear from him. So, shelter basically means to give people the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. And taking shelter of the lotus feet means engaging in devotional service. There is that story how when Duryodhana and when Arjun was sent by Yudhishthira Maharaj to approach Krishna and ask him to come on their side, because they were collecting armies for the battle of Kurukshetra. So Duryodhana came to know, and therefore he took a shortcut overnight and he reached the palace of Krishna earlier than Arjun. And he went straight into the bedroom. And Krishna was lying down, so he went and sat right near his head, so that as soon as he wakes up, I can see him. And little later, Arjun came and he humbly sat at the lotus feet of the Lord. So Krishna opened his eyes and he said, "Arey, Arjun," because when you wake up, you don't see up there, you see, near your feet. He said, "Oh, Arjun, I'm here." I said, "I came first." He said, "Oh, you also come. Arey, what a surprise. Both of you have come here together. What a pleasant, unusual thing. So yes, please tell me what I can do for you." Duryodhana spoke first. Said, "Nothing, Krishna. We just going to have a battle and war, and I have come to request you to fight from our side." "Oh, acha. Arjun, what about you?" "My lord, same thing, I have also come here." "Oh, really?" He said, "Samoham sarva bhuteshu, I am equal to both. I am, you are both relatives, you are both very dear to me. So I'll do one thing, I'll divide myself into half. On one side will be my undefeatable 1 crore trained soldiers with weapons, the Narayani Sena, which has never ever till now lost a war. And on the other side, me. And I'm not going to take any weapons. So this is how I'm going to divide myself into half. Because both of you are dear to me, and therefore you can choose. Arjun, you take the first one." "Oh, how can you do that?" Duryodhana was so upset. No. I've come here first. Krishna said, "I saw him first." Then again he went on, and then Krishna said, "After all, he's a younger brother. Let him get the first choice." And Duryodhana felt, I knew Krishna is always, everything about him is twisted, nothing is straight. I knew this would happen. And to the shock of Duryodhana, without batting an eyelid, without a second thought, Arjun said, "I want you, Keshava." Duryodhana couldn't believe his ears. He was so joyful from within his heart. Foolish fellow. He won the toss, so to say. He got the choice. And he's asking, Krishna, this coward boy, rather than his 1 crore trained, powerful army with soldiers who never got defeated, but externally said, "Oh, it's all right. If that's the choice, then okay, I got the army." And before, who knows, he may change his mind and Krishna may again do something. He said, "I'm going," and he walked off. And Krishna looked at Arjun. "Arjun, I gave you the choice. What did you do?" He looked at Arjun as if to say, "I gave you the choice. I literally made your case. What did you do?" And Arjun smiled, looking at Krishna. I said, "My Lord, there is a person in Hindi, he has composed a very nice couplet on this." So Krishna looked at Arjun as if to say, "Arjun, हार निश्चित है तेरी, हरदम रहेगा उदास." हार निश्चित है तेरी, your defeat is certain, you will always be morose. Why? माखन दुर्योधन ले गया, बस छाछ बची तेरे पास. So the butter was taken away by Duryodhan and only buttermilk is left with you. So Arjun looked at Krishna as if to say, प्रभु जीत निश्चित है मेरी, दास हो नहीं सकता वो दास. He said, victory is certain for me, your servant can never become morose. अरे माखन लेकर क्या करूं जब माखन चोर है मेरे पास. He said, what will I do with the butter when butter thief is with me? So, a devotee of the Lord is certain, yatra yogeshwara krishno, yatra partho dhanurdhara, tatra shri vijayo bhutihi dhruvani tirmatirmana. So truly, to take care of someone, who are we to take care? We ourselves are drowning, we are about to die. What kind of care can we do? But if we can inspire, encourage and facilitate somehow a devotee to take care of, to take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. And at Krishna's lotus feet are his pure devotees. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya. At the lotus feet are situated his pure representatives. So if we take shelter of their feet, somehow if we can inspire, that is truly caring, so that they can become free from anxiety. Hitvatma patam grahamandakupam vanam gato yad harim ashrayet. Ashray means shelter. Samashhritaye padapallavam plavam mahatpadam punya yasho murare bhavam budir vatsapadam padam padam param padam padam yad pivadam natesha. So truly one who takes shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, the apparently huge ocean of material existence becomes like a water contained in the hoof print of a calf. So that is the first part of care. Somehow to inspire, encourage, facilitate a person to actually come to Krishna's shelter of his lotus feet by the process of devotional service, basically. Engaging in taking shelter means taking shelter of the process of Navada Bhakti, 9 process of devotion service. And then the second principle that he talks is, so first was spiritual shelter, and the next is spiritual strength. Srila Prabhupada was speaking in Bhubaneswar in February of 1977, practically his last visit to Bhubaneswar before he departed from this world in November. So it was Nityananda Triyodashi. And there Prabhupada was giving the lecture, and there he said, so for progressing in spiritual life we need strength. And that strength is not physical strength. Nayam Atma Balahinena Labhya. The Upanishad says, a weak person can't achieve the perfection of life. You need strength. And Prabhupada explains that strength is Balaram. That strength comes from Balaram. And he said, Acha, why do you need strength? Because there are so many powers in this world which is preventing us, both internally and externally. They are stopping us from taking shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. So many excuses, so many reasons, both without, from people, relatives, it could be friends, it could be society, it could be anything. And even from within, so many doubts, what if this happens, what if this happens? So we become weak to take shelter to the Lord. So even to come to the shelter, there are so many forces which are pulling us away. And therefore we need strength to come to the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Having come to the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, there are so many forces within and without which are pulling us away from that shelter. To stay in that, to continue to stay in the shelter of the lotus feet, we need strength. What to speak of progressing to take more and more shelter of the lotus feet. So to come to that shelter, to stay in the shelter and grow in that shelter, we need strength. And that strength, Prabhupada says, comes from Balaram. And Balaram means Guru Tattva. So how does the Guru Tattva give us the strength? That strength comes from the instructions of Guru. Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Charanam Vraja. And the Guru says, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Krishna Ekam Charanam. They are saying the same thing. So, the strength comes from instructions of the spiritual authorities, especially the spiritual master. So, they repeat, they are like the transparent via medium of Guru and Sadhu and Shastra, of scriptural and the conclusion given by the previous acharyas. And like one time one devotee wrote to Prabhupada, I'm having this difficulty, that difficulty. Prabhupada said, you just follow my instruction and I will kick Maya with my boots. How can a living entity make such a tall claim? I'll kick Maya with my boots? Yes, Prabhupada was just repeating, Mam eve prapadyante, Maya metam taranti deva. It's possible. So these two things. First, somehow to inspire, to encourage and facilitate by creating an environment where people are inspired to take up the process of hearing and chanting Navada Bhakti. That is a way of caring, truly speaking. And to create a system whereby every single individual who has somehow or other stumbled to the right place, Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavanaji, to take shelter of Krishna, should be given very matured, balanced and timely advice. When they are disturbed, when they are confused, when they are bewildered. Sometimes it happens in spiritual life. So many times we get, confused, bewildered. What should we do? Is this right? Called dharma sankat. Confused. What is to be done? What's right? What's wrong? Should this way? Should be that way? And therefore, so many excuses the mind starts giving under the illusory energy to justify their giving up the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, but to actually facilitate and maturely and timely balanced instructions. So that is care, to give them the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord and some instructions to see that they always remain in that shelter and progress in that shelter more and more, more and more. And once they experience that shelter, that conviction, then automatically they gather that strength, self-motivated, or they say, they connect, they're convinced, faith and conviction in the process increases. Utsahat, Nishchayat, Dhairya. The proof of faith is we never lose our enthusiasm. As Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, even if you don't feel enthusiastic, act enthusiastic. It's a fact, when you act enthusiastic, you start feeling enthusiastic. I'm amazed, Sometimes it's a very lousy day, and a rainy day, cold day, and you walk into the flight, and there's air hostesses are such a big smile. Good morning, sir. Good day. Have a good day. They may be feeling miserable inside about another flight and this, growly looking fellow, what he walks in, but still, morning, sir. Have a day, saying good day. And even while going out, why? Because they are paid for that. If they don't, then probably the airline will stop, and therefore it's a question of doing it. So if people can do that just for a little amount of money, knowing that what is in store for us, if we continue to remain, why cannot be enthusiastic? So, utsaha and dhairyat. Because the nature of the mind is, restless mind is to create some reason to become miserable. The mind desperately looks for something to become miserable. And therefore, not allowing the mind, manmana bhavat bhakto, to keep the mind absorbed. Body needs engagement, mind needs absorption, and the intelligence needs to be alert. Actually, people in the material world are also active, absorbed, and alert. But for materialistic reasons. They are active. Oh God, the way they are active, probably none of us can be so active. So active. I know one surgeon, 17 hours he stands to perform one facial lift. He's a plastic surgeon. Facelift he does. Sometimes it takes 17 hours. He can't sit 17 hours sometimes. And we can't stand even during, if you're sleeping japa, we stand after some time, we look for a chair and sit down. So they are active. They are absorbed. One time, for Janmashtami, we had to bring the souvenir out. So I went to a printer shop to get it done. Morning I went at 7 a.m. immediately after Mangalarti. And I was sitting with him till 8 p.m. because it had to be released that day, evening. And the program was at night. So I was sitting, you have to give me, get it out and give all the books, at least few books so that we inaugurate it. And he was sitting with me. And throughout we were sitting together. And one time around 6 p.m., one paper flew like this, just flew and went under a box. So he picked up the box, it was a lunch box actually. And then he realized, I forgot to eat my lunch, he said. He picked the paper and he started doing because he had to give. Whole day he was sitting with me, he drank neither a drop of water nor food. For him it was an ordinary day. For me it was not a big deal because it was anyway Janmashtami. I had to fast. So I was mentally prepared. But for him it was just another day. He was so busy, he had to deliver because that would fetch him, because we ordered a big number, that would fetch him a big amount of money. And he had to deliver because we told, if you're not delivering by evening, we don't want that, you keep it yourself. What will you do with that? So he had to. He didn't drink, he didn't eat anything. He forgot about it. And I was thinking, I wanted to take the dust from his lotus feet, put it on my head. I wish I was so absorbed in my service. Because they are so alert. What will be the profit for this? So similarly, a devotee should be active, knowing that time is very short. We don't know how long we will be in this world, in the human form of life. So rare, so precious. And one has to keep the mind absorbed. We have to plan activities and keep ourselves absorbed. And we have to be alert to the passage of time and to our position in the next life. What will be our position? Life is a preparation, death is the examination. So we should be aware, just like children are aware, exams are going to come at the end of the year. So we better be aware. Back of the mind, there is the Damocles sword. Exam is going to come. Similarly, what will be our position? Will we pass out the exam successfully? Antakale cha mam eva smaran mukta kalevar. Otherwise, yam yam vapi smaran bhavan. Whatever we think, we will end up there. So, so the point is, somehow, in proper association, with proper understanding of scriptures, with proper systems put in place, if we can make sure care as a virtue and care as a function. Virtue means, as he pointed out, the culture of appreciation, respect, empathy. That's a culture of one should develop. And simultaneously there should be systems. Prabhupada cared, therefore he wrote the books, and he was traveling, relentlessly he was traveling, preaching. But he also put up a system in place. He put the GBC, he established ISKCON. Had he not established ISKCON, had he not established GBC, had he not established BBT, what would have happened after his departure? Everything would have finished. But he foresaw. So yes, he cared, and he also put up systems in place. So if we can have a system of care also. Mere virtue, talking about care without system, is lip service. And mere system without virtue won't be sustainable. The system will fail because the system is kept alive by the spirit of virtue of care. This is necessary so that everyone gets cared for in a community, in a society, in a family. So that's the whole idea. How people are inspired, encouraged, and facilitated to actively engage in devotional service, to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord by active engagement in devotional service till the last day of their life. As His Holiness Radha Swami Maharaj was once asked by Shivaraj Swami to speak on devotee care. How did you do this? And your temple, please speak. It was very spontaneously he was asked. But while speaking, he made a statement which we can take it as a vision of devotee care. Every devotee in any level of leadership position should be asking, what would it take for each and every particular devotee under my care to feel protected, inspired, and encouraged to remain active in the mission of Srila Prabhupada till the last day of their life? Whatever it takes to kind of do that. And it's impossible alone. It is insanity to think that I can remain alone and do it. Impossible. Therefore, the great acharyas have created a wonderful community, a society. Prabhupada writes in NOI 4, 6 loving exchanges, Dadati Pratigranati. He said this movement was started single-handedly, but just because of 6 loving exchanges, this movement is spreading all over the world. Like I was discussing the other day. It's like a bottle with water, mineral water bottle. It is the water which quenches the thirst. But a bottle is necessary to keep it for a longer time and distribute. So structures are necessary to facilitate these 6 loving exchanges. But in and of itself, structure is useless if the function is not happening. To love and be loved. to accept love and to distribute love, to care, accept the care of Krishna and to share the care with others. That is the purpose of a temple. And wherever that kind of a exchange is going on, people will feel happy, people will feel satisfied, people will be enlivened and enthused to actually take shelter and continue on to progress in that shelter. And anyone who actually walks into such a community, walks into such an atmosphere, and experiences that loving family atmosphere in a setup, why would they ever want to leave such a community? Such an amazing shelter. So truly, of course, it's very easy to speak. It's very difficult to actually create such a thing unless we really have to put our heart and soul into it. Like Srila Prabhupada created so much of his blood and sweat he put up to actually create the society. So this is the essence of care. The shelter, as explained by Niranjan Maharaj in his book, that spiritual shelter, and to come, to stay and to grow in that shelter, the strength. The shelter comes from engagement in devotion service, and strength comes from mature, balanced and timely guidance. A system to get that guidance for everyone at every stage. We need it at every stage. And it is necessary for everyone. Because all of us go through crisis. Health crisis, relationship crisis, financial crisis. So many crises in this world. But if that community is there, then it's much easier to stay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, questions we can take?
Yes, yes. Dear devotees, if you have questions, please feel free to ask.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Prabhu has a very sweet smile, which is very enchanting. Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, especially for that mission statement that you shared. Protected, inspired, encouraging environment for all Vaishnavas. Prabhuji, many times I feel that the care that I want to give someone is not the care that they want.
I feel that the care that I want to give someone is not the care that they want to receive. In my opinion, when someone's sharing something, I feel that, what they really need is like they have to hear, they have to read right now, and they probably need to read this section of the Bhagavatam. But what they're thinking is, I'm coming just to get your attention. Like, I'll play the victim and, I just want you to give me attention. Or for someone, they're dealing with loneliness. For them, they probably need to associate. They need to do kirtan with other devotees. But for them, all they're looking for is nice prasadam. So that question that always comes to my mind is, if we care for them, should we give them what they want so that they are, so to say, happy? Because that's what they want. But I would like to give them something that they need.
So both. Begin with what they want, eventually give them what they need. So therefore have a system. So before they enter, they should know this is the system. This is what we actually mean by care. This is what we've done. Welcome. This is what it is. However, you are here. Okay, there is a river flowing and they are there. Okay? So you're calling them here. They are convinced, they are happy there. So you need to have a bridge. You come half the way as per their want to give what you need to give. And they are inspired. Prabhupada, when he went there, they didn't understand what he was saying. but they saw that he cared for them. He loved them unconditionally. To relate to them, you have to give them what they want actually. There was one girl who was in the college, joined the college, and she came to a sannyasi and she told, Maharaj, I'm trying to preach, nobody listens. So Maharaj said, don't preach, just become friends, good friends with them. Accept them for who they are and respect them for what they are. Then they will accept you for who you are and respect you for who you are. And if they are inspired, they may actually try to understand also. So when we go with an attitude of, I have come here to deliver you, you lowly, fallen, deeply fallen in the soul, take shelter of my lotus toe and I'll flick you back home, back to Godhead. This attitude is what puts off people. Prabhupada never did like that. He was their friend. He was cooking for them, he was serving them. He never asked anything till the first person said, Swami, do you need help? Come inside. Then he realized, my God, what is this old man doing? 10 people's work he's doing alone. He didn't ask first. He was just giving. He was simply giving. Till they realized, my God, this person is doing so much to give us. And he's not expecting anything. This was the amazing part. He wasn't expecting, he was simply giving. Therefore, they felt overwhelmed. They felt grateful. And born out of that gratitude was generosity. Now, I will also give not only to him back by assisting him, but by assisting him by sharing it with others. It took time. It took time. So, actually what everyone wants and what everyone needs is love. Love, just like why do we love our parents? Because they love us. That love on a physical level manifests as food, clothing and shelter. On a physical level. That's love. I love you, therefore I give you food, I give you clothing, I give you a shelter. On a emotional level, on a subtle level, it means acceptance, encouragement, appreciating. And on a spiritual level, or on a sense of self, not the ego, false ego, but the ego, a sense of self, respect and sense of self-worth. Sometimes a child draws and drawing. Papa, just see what I've drawn. Oh, such a beautiful horse. This is not a horse, this is a goat. Oh, very nice goat. Very nice. Who cares whether it's a goat or a... I love because you've drawn it. So nice, I appreciate it. So acceptance, appreciation. Yeah, I told somebody when child brought, she may go, oh, I said, beautiful lotus. This is not lotus, this is a rose. Oh, very nice rose. I don't care. I love that intent behind. You've taken the trouble to draw this and, to write best wishes for me and giving it. So behind that activity, the intent is what is appreciated. That sincerity. So what they want and what they need is love. But it translates to several things at several times. In the beginning, it may translate as, on a hungry stomach, don't feel philosophy, just feed them. Whatever it takes. But then they see that in return, this person isn't expecting anything than to take up what is good for me, but not imposing it. So it takes time. And Shruti Dharma Prabhu, London, he drew a pyramid. He said there are different levels of care. Sometimes there is expectation. If I go this much, at the end of the day, you should be chanting minimum 4 rounds. I'm giving so much, it doesn't chant a single round. I think I should do something, think of something else. Useless fellow, ungrateful. So he said, he drew like a pyramid, and he said, at the bottom is, what is Hare Krishna? Meaning, the inquisitive people. What are you guys? Putting bedsheet around your hair, putting some mud on your face. What is this? Hanging of that. Who are you guys? And what do you do? For them, the care is journey of self-discovery, science of self-realization. Come here a little bit. Oh, cha, you guys are authentic. What you're giving is bona fide. What you're giving is ancient. Imam Vivasvate Yogam. Millions of years ago it was given to sun god. Sun god gave it to Manu. Manu gave it to Ikshvaku. And from there it is, acha. I thought you guys, some new age guys who have created something, But you seem to be not only bona fide, but ancient and also welfare oriented. That's it. Thank you very much. I understood. And they may walk away. You have brought them one notch up. At least they now are saying, okay, you guys are, I thought you're crazy guys. So many have different hairstyles. You also one more guy. But then I realized, no, behind this there is a whole ancient, authentic, welfare-oriented philosophy, and there is some substance here. So they become, in their heart at least, they have some respect. They may go, they may not come, that's all. But they will say, oh, Hare Krishna, bona fide guys. They're not like crazy guys. So from there, some will come to next level in a pyramid, and that is, I like the Hare Krishnas. You're doing a very good job, huh? You're doing a very good job. Don't ask me to chant. But you guys are doing a very good job. You should go to schools. If you need any help for contacts, I will get you. If you need any halls for rent, I will supply. I know so many contacts I get. You are doing a very good job. Continue to do it. They will eternally remain well-wishers. They are our well-wishers. So from inquisitive, they come to the well-wishers. And there are people I know for last 35 years. They still come and appreciate. Any help you need, tell me. Janmashtami, I will come and give you big donation. I will bring people and introduce to you. Don't make me chant. Even today. And they are such wonderful people, refined gentlemen. But somehow, Sukriti, they will eat prasad and they will distribute to everyone and go. But on their own, they will never take it up. But they are like that. Some will come to the next level. From I like the Hare Krishnas to I am a Hare Krishna. From Sunday to Sunday. On Sunday will come Hari Bol, Hare Krishna, then next Sunday only, that's all. In between they have a full-fledged social life, they have their own occupation, has nothing to do with Hare Krishna. But every Sunday they are there. And sometimes I say, Prabhuji, how to wear this dhoti? And they dance also. They put some tilak, sometimes it goes from here to here, whatever. At least they look like Hare Krishnas every Sunday. And they chant Hare Krishna. And they pick up the phone, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. At least to you. So they will, and they may chant a few rounds also. Start chanting a few. Yeah, I chant 2 rounds now. I chant 3, 4, whatever. So, I am a Hare Krishna. That means, they are not considering outside guy. Now, we are Hare Krishnas, they say. So they identify themselves with Hare Krishnas. And then you have next level. My life is Hare Krishna. Sunday or Monday. Any day of the week. Now, irrespective of who says what, I am going to practice. I am convinced there is substance here and it has made sense to me. There is extremely deep and it's extremely valuable. I have understood. Come whatever may, I go to my village, I go to my relatives and friends. They identify me and I also identify very clear, I am a Hare Krishna. I won't take this, I do this. People have accepted. So now my life is Hare Krishna. Can you think of something higher than that? The top one is, my mission is Hare Krishna. I will practice, no doubt, but jare dekho tare kaho Krishna upadesh. Whomever I meet, to whatever degree I can, to whatever level I can, I will try to share with them. Wherever I go, in whatever level I can relate and connect. My meditation would be, how can I enjoy so much and my brother or my sister is suffering? How can I not share this? I'm excited. I'm all enthusiastic to now share in whatever way I can. So wherever that person goes, he will always be thinking of creative ways, how I can connect, how I can relate, how I can share. So Shruti Dharma's Prabhu's point was, try to bring everyone to this level. Accept them whichever level they are and encourage them to come to the next notch. One notch up, that's all. And be happy. And accept them. Chika, it's all right. Probably many lifetimes we may have done like that. Today probably we have come one notch up. And he said, for all levels you need to have systems of care. For the inquisitive people, there should be a system going on in the temple. All newcomers are given a positive experience and happy memory of their visit to the temple. That's all. Don't overpower them, win the battle but lose the war. I used to do that. If somebody did the mistake of wishing me, hi, six session course I will give them in 1 hour, condensed crash course. And that fellow will never see a Hare Krishna again. I thought, poor fellow, anyway he's going to be lost. So before he is getting lost, let me push everything that I have in my arsenal in his mouth. And thinking, I have delivered him. Permanently delivered him from the Hare Krishnas. So, we have to have a system of care for the newcomers, so that they go with a happy experience. Wow, I met a nice person. He was very refined, he was very caring, and he was sensitive to my needs and emotions. Then, the next level, I like the Hare Krishna. So have a system of care for them. You want to know something? We have here some kind of a course, we kind of seminars. You can please come here, understand more. Here are some things for you to understand, some pamphlets exclusively for those kind of levels. I am a Hare Krishna, now I am chanting 1 or 2 rounds. Excellent. We have a system of care for you. A sense of belonging. A positive sense of belonging to a community of sober, loving, caring people. That's what people want. They shouldn't feel these are strange guys. Initially they may feel like that. Prabhupada said, you can recognize my followers by the fact that they are first-class gentlemen and ladies. So, otherwise, we win the battle but lose the war. Many a times we think that is a success. And we won the battle. We got some score, did something, but then we lost them, whatever. Before we lose, we want to give them as much as we can. It's all right. That's one way of looking at it. Only praise, not shreyas. But if you genuinely connect with them as a friend, as a concerned member, Prabhupada actually loved. Damodar Prabhu again and again quotes that. Some reporter would come and ask a question to Prabhupada while recording, and Prabhupada would answer that. And the recording would stop and then he was about to go. He said, sit down. He was concerned about the individual, not about whether the report comes or not. He was concerned. This individual has asked a question. Whether does he understand? He needs to understand about Krishna, something. He needs to appreciate that culture to some extent. So that was his concern. He didn't care what report he will write tomorrow. But he has come. Krishna has brought him here. He should go back with some kind of clarity, some kind of conviction, some kind of appreciation. So that's what the sense of appreciation. Giriraj Maharaj's parents, they said, oh, this is a nice person. He's a nice person. So sometimes we have preaching, to a very, very superficial kind of a package we feel. Preaching is much more than, genuinely, your ever well-wisher. Adabhra Sauhradaha, 10th canto. That word is used. Where does it come from? Your ever well-wisher. Adabhra means eternal. Never thinking bad of anyone. Ever thinking good. And Sauhrada, well-wisher. So your ever well-wisher comes from that verse of 10th canto. So these people give their life as an example, give their knowledge in the form of books, and while departing, they leave behind the boat by which people can cross. What is their boat? Their example and their teachings in the form of the books. That's what the acharyas leave behind. So we should try to become everyone's genuine well-wisher. So, and then Krishna will give us the intelligence, how to relate, how to connect with them. He will give us the intelligence. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. Yenama bhupayante. So we should be actually praying before we go out for any kind of preaching. Genuinely pray to Srila Prabhupada as he prayed. Krishna, I don't know why you brought me here. I can't understand their language. I don't even know whether they will ever understand you. Please put the right words in my mouth. Make me dance. I want to become an instrument of your compassion. Make me dance, my Lord, however you want me. And Krishna can put the right word. Actually, it's not about your preaching. Krishna gives the conviction from the other fellow. He sees beyond the words to your intention. This person is genuinely wanting, good of me. That the Paramatma can indicate to that individual. So I feel it's like that, Yes, they may need something, but their wants are right now something. So connecting between that, first giving from there and eventually going to actually feeling what we can actually do for that soul, lost soul, which somehow Krishna has inspired to come in our midst somehow. So I feel that's real thing about preaching. Sometimes we get a little stuck at the, on a superficial level, or we get, because we are attached to the result, we get disturbed. We are attached to some extent or the other, result oriented. So therefore we get disturbed also. If we don't see because we have expectations. Yes, we should have expectation to offer to Krishna, but in a particular way from every individual in them. Then we will get little restless when we don't see that. But when we continue to give, irrespective of, Krishna will reciprocate much more than what we ever expect. When we do that. Prabhupada saw, he said, it's magic. Prabhupada never expected that he will have an international society. He just came, he was happy, he actually wrote in one. Today one person purchased the book. Today they appreciated Prasad. He's writing, a world acharya writing in his book, diary. Read that Prabhupada's early diaries. Oh, today that person heard the philosophy. He sat down, asked 2 questions. He was happy. One complained, what is this? I'm in Mahabhagavat coming here amongst them. These rascals don't appreciate. How? We are happy with whatever little, any people reciprocate in whatever little way. So, of course, we can't imitate, we can't be on that platform, but we begin somewhere. It's simply to share. Sometimes you may be investing in someone, but someone else comes. Your result you won't get there. I was preaching to one businessman in Nariman Point. That fellow would never give me a paisa also. So after 3 years, he gave me first donation to Janmashtami. But he would call me regularly. And every time I went, he would ask me several questions. I'd be preaching with full vigor, knowing that this fellow will not pay me anything. But his customers would be sitting and listening, and I would give the number and the address. They would end up coming. And many of them became very nice, fixed up devotees. But that fellow is still there. Still says, "Oh, Gopinath, very nice, very nice."
I like Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I like her. I like that. I like people at least do something. He doesn't do also much. But still, he's happy to see me. It's like that, like people. Okay.
Any more questions?
Yes, Prabhu.
Krishna, a very wonderful class is enlightening to me. You mentioned that only there are pyramids and the different levels of care and system has to be there. So, can you elaborate different level what system you are giving a quick example? I heard one which is good.
So you explained the care for who are the Hare Krishnas, and I like the Hare Krishna.
Very simple, very simple. Is sometimes going for book distribution or Harinam or distribute some invitations, some pamphlets have been distributed. Somehow some of them have decided to come on a Sunday. So after the whole program they're sitting, we have a system in our temple that at the end of the lecture we announce we have a trained PR person. We have a trained PR person. So he announces, says, all those who have come for the first time, can you please stand up on your seat? And everyone stands up and says, would really like to appreciate, thank you very much for coming. And we have a fixed written announcement. What words to be used? Ready-made. We announce and we say, here is a person sitting right there under that particular seat. Please go and meet him. So he'll give a little prasad, give some information, give them a nice treatment, VIP treatment like they have come. Prabhupada said, anyone who walks is Krishna's guest. He is Radha Madan Mohan's guest. He is Nitai Gauranga's guest. So they have come here. So we treat them very nicely, talk to them very nice way, and please do come, please keep coming. Today in this world, rarely anyone has time for anyone. And here is a person calling them. You didn't come, we were missing you. Not that we were missing you when we will give donation, not like that. Just calling them. And that probably 10, 1 may come. Doesn't matter. But they are like, they got a very happy memory and a positive experience of coming to the temple. That's all. So this is this level of care for the absolute newcomers. They get a good experience. Well, I went to the temple and they greet you well and they treat you well. That's all. And then, if they are regularly coming, they say, we have an introductory course that talks about who we are, what do we do? And that's about, Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, Karma, something about basic foundational things of it. So you can design as per the need. A group of you can sit down and decide what needs to be told at what level. How much can we do at what level? When should we decide what level of thing will be? So a system should be done. So from there they come to this level. From there, a few may come to the next level. And for them, just like a newborn child may take little milk once or twice a day and is satisfied. But a 16-year-old guy needs nourishment is different. So for people in the movement already for say 3-4 years or 6 years, their nourishment is different. We can't put everyone in the same level. For some it will go overboard and for some will feel bored. The same old stuff being told. So they need also, some take-home message every time. So there has to be systems for different levels of care in the community. So they feel, okay, they feel also, they're coming all the way, they should feel nourished. They should feel, or they meet their bigger family. It's nice to meet, it's like an outing, a weekly outing to meet the larger family. They come, interact, speak together, some little nourishment and some interactions like that. So it's nice, it's like community. It's a larger family get together where you look forward to meet someone who knows you and inquire about, that's all. So that's why Prabhupada called it Sunday love feast. Feast is there, but there's also love. Loving exchanges. Dadati pratigranati guhyamakyati prichadi. So they go back fired up, inspired. So some go there to receive, some go there to give, but the whole idea is it's a seva. In the very early years, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj emphasized, as a seva you come, every Sunday we need to see the whole community come together. Newcomer may go to receive, the others may go, they have received, now it's time to give. You give affection, you give, friendship. So it's a family get together. So, that statement, family that prays together, stays together. A family that dines together, shines together. A family that sings together, clings together. And a family that dances together, advances together. So, just get together of a family with Krishna in the center. So like that different levels. Another group can be there for discussions on philosophical and other kind of, sometimes a retreat for equal-minded people, equal age people. Sometimes I don't like to connect with the oldies. I want my own age people. Well, let's go out. Let's do something, kind of a retreat. So their needs are met through a proper system on a regular basis. So they want to be a part of that kind of family. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Yes. You tell me when to stop. I can go on.
No, please go on. Yes.
Thank you so much for the wonderful class.
He is our host. We have to answer his question. Otherwise, we won't get prasad.
Take the mic.
No problem.
Mic is working.
Sorry, everyone can hear him.
So, thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class. Both of you have narrated it and explained it so well. I took notes because I like I'm in IT and I like the way when the presentation is going from a flow with some abbreviation, with some formulas, step-by-step notes and all. So I like that, and I think it will really help me to implement and refer to those notes for the devotee care, because that is one of my favorite things to be actively participating in. One thing, Prabhuji, as you mentioned, right, as human beings, we have these needs for inclusion, needs for appreciation and all. But at the same time, sometimes when we hear the philosophy, like yesterday we were saying about the service, right? I like to do versus I am asked to do, I have to do. So we need to reach a level where we start liking which I have to do, right? Do we really need to reach, or will there be ever a stage that there's no need of appreciation, right? You do it naturally out of love. And what is the progress path between the stage that I need appreciation to be enthusiastic versus I don't need appreciation, I have no expectation, but I just want to do it as I love to do it.
We are sentient beings. We will always need it. Even Varahadev felt disturbed when Hiranyaksha did not appreciate, well, what is this person? Why is he shouting, talking like this? He also felt. So Prabhupada writes on that Prabhupada, even the Lord is a sentient being. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktyat prayachati tadam bhakti upahartam ashna. So sentient being means they appreciate this. These are legitimate needs. You know, in the beginning, we need it on a more grosser level. But at a higher level, a guru is giving his life's energy to instruct. He will feel appreciated when his words are taken seriously and acted upon. You don't have to tell him, I really appreciate Maharaj, what a class you gave, really amazing. And then you go your way and not act upon it. He doesn't care about that kind of appreciation. But he will feel appreciated when his words are valued. A sense of self-worth, chalo, I'm doing, at least people are appreciating and taking. Prabhupada writes, a Mahabhagavat, Paramahamsa devotee, he's writing, oh, very nice, this person got the book, he appreciated this movement, he appreciated the effort. So Prabhupada was so much, and that appreciation not for himself, that my mission is being appreciated. So on that level, everyone, but it becomes more subtler and subtler. Lord Chaitanya, so sensitive. Self-worth, these are certain needs. Need a sense of security is a need. On a very superficial level, we need physical things for security. On a more subtler level, there is someone there for me, a family there, the community is there for me. That's security. Even today, if something happens, earthquake happens, everything collapses, the whole community is there, they'll come forward. That's a sense of security. On a much, much higher level, Rakhe Krishna, Mare Krishna, but that journey from this level on a bodily platform, gross needs, to the subtle body's needs, to the spiritual need, is a long journey. It's a long journey. It won't happen overnight. But till we reach here, we need this. We need this. And even here, these needs are very gratefully accepted. Even if it's not there, they are indifferent. On a very high level, you become indifferent to these needs because you are experiencing that need there. That need is there, but it's on a different level. So that kind of a journey has to happen. But in the beginning, everyone needs that. So it's going to be there. Very interesting. Thank you for asking this question. In the Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad, Maitri, the wife of Yajnavalkya, she asks this question. My dear husband, please tell me, what is that one need? If that is there, even if none of these needs, you fall short in any of these things, still it doesn't make a difference. But if that is not there, all these needs are not fulfilling. What's that? So Yajnavalkya meditates for some time and then he says, to love and be loved is the core need, even for Krishna. He is Atmaram, but why he expanded into many? Because loving exchange. Anandamayo Bhyasat. He wants Ananda, he doesn't want Shanti. Shanti is there, but there is Ananda in loving reciprocation. And that love on a gross level, as we discussed, Gross level manifests as sharing some gifts and exchanging prasad, whatever like that. Heart to heart talk. On an emotional level, these kind of things, appreciation, respect, self-worth, significance, to make you feel your existence doesn't make a difference. In fact, you're a burden. And opposite of that is, Prabhu, I really don't know what would have happened to this whole service if you weren't there. Thank you so much. How does it feel for the sense of self? So it's just that. And that act of doing it as a practice on a regular basis, ideally publicly, chastise privately, appreciate publicly. Vachane ki daridrata, Chanakya Pandit says, why are you so stingy about speaking appreciative words? Of course, superficially doing it very artificially, it doesn't impress. But it should be genuine, which means you have to look for someone, something good, and appreciate that honestly. An honest dose of regular small appreciation. You should put systems in place to appreciate people. So therefore we celebrate birthdays. We are not the body. Kya birthday? What is the birthday? So sometimes people say, this body is few days old. This is something is wrong with their mind actually. It's an act of appreciating that person. His Holiness Radha Swami Maharaj started in Gopinath Mandir many years ago. Memorials for departed souls. One very senior Vaishnava departed from. He was a very sweet, very humble, very unassuming person. He would travel a long distance to come for Mangalarti, even though he was invalid and he was difficulty to walk. Old man, 72, 80 probably. But he would regularly come for Mangalarti, which means he leaves 4:30 Mangalarti. He must be leaving at least 3:30 or 3:50. He must leave home to take a train, come and walk. So when he departed, we have our first memorial ceremony. And many devotees who knew him started speaking about his qualities. Literally everyone had tears and they would say, oh, we wish we knew that person before. We could have taken advantage of his, Second time another devotees happened. When the third time this memorial ceremony happened, in our brahmachari ashram we were discussing, why does it take for a person to depart to begin to appreciate that person? So we were thinking, let's have our memorial before we depart. But then she said, no, this is not appropriate, Memorials are done after a person departs. So then one devotee said, no, Prabhu, if we can celebrate on their birthdays, it's not about the cake, it's just that his loving associates come together, wish him a long, happy, healthy life, and speak a few words and thank you so much. You did this for me in the year, you did that when we were very sick, thank you so much. It feels so nice. You feel valued, sense of self-worth, sense of significance. Lord Chaitanya did that. Haridas Thakur said, my Lord, I have come to know that very soon you will be departing from this world. Please, my Lord, I don't want to see that chapter. Please, of course I am an insignificant person. I have a prayer. Before you leave, let me depart from this world. But my request is, let my mouth be chanting your name. Let my eyes be beholding your beautiful form. Let your lotus feet be on my chest. If you so desire, please fulfill this desire. Lord Chaitanya said, Haridas, you are such a devotee of Krishna. Krishna has to fulfill this desire of yours. Next day he came with the best Kirtaniya, Swarup Damodar Goswami, with the best dancer, Vakreshwar Pandit, all the senior devotees, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Ramananda Rai. He came in the house. What is the news? And he said, whatever your desire, my Lord. And Lord Chaitanya began ecstatic kirtan. Can you imagine Lord Chaitanya dancing with all the Swarup Damodar, Makreshwar Pandit, Ramanand Rai, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Gadadhar Pandit, all kinds of people dancing. Ecstatic kirtan going on. Lord, he's lying down. And then, when the kirtan stopped, he sat him down. Haridas Thakur sat Lord Chaitanya down, took both his feet and put it on his chest, looked around, took the dust from the feet of all the devotees on his head, and then looked at the eyes of the Lord like bumblebees focusing on the lotus, or the lotus face, and then chanting Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. He departed from this. Everyone remembered Bhishma Dev. Said, wow, this is the perfection of life. But before that, he said, my Lord, I want to depart. Give me. Lord Chaitanya is telling him, if you leave, how can I bear? If you go away, how will I live? Every day Lord Chaitanya after Jagannath Darshan would come to meet Haridas. This is a leader appreciating every one of his followers. But Haridas Thakur didn't say, thank you my Lord, you actually understand I'm Namacharya. He said, my Lord, don't put me in illusion. If an ant dies, what does it make a difference to this planet? Have you ever in your newspapers here in whole of Georgia seen 10 ants died under a tire of a vehicle of Adi Gadadhar Das? Who cares? Millions of ants may die when somebody passes urine there or something. In India, it happens. People stand on the road and who cares? So that's the mood of Haridas Thakur. He doesn't accept, but the Lord wants to give, appreciate. The devotee says, Shunyaitam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahin. And the Lord says, Shunyaitam Jagat Sarvam Mad Bhakta Virahin. When Radharani left, Lord Chaitanya came down. So that's what is the culture of Vaishnavism. A culture of care, culture of love, culture of affection, culture of service. Of course, it's difficult, but it has to be, where the mind goes, the energy flows. If we don't prioritize it, knowing that this is the need, this is what will make us happy, this is what will make us feel protected, secure, and if you don't emphasize it, both as a virtue and as a system. So, in the corporate world, whatever is emphasis, they measure smart goals. You have to make smart goals. That's what this 21 hours of care thing is all about. First part is about philosophical foundation. The next part is about practical implementation. Strategic plan of how to make sure that every devotee is spiritually happy, materially well situated, positively identifying with ISKCON as a caring society. Every devotee is responsibly taking care of his or her diverse needs and is able to easily and successfully seek qualified help within the society and wholeheartedly extend that care to others. This is the vision statement of Devotee Care Manual. GBC is the whole effort. And imagine if all over ISKCON, everyone becomes DC literate. Everyone has the shared language of what it means to care for devotees. It will be a better place. Everyone will feel happy, sheltered. Why would they ever want to leave such a sweet community where they feel so much of love, so much of affection, so much of camaraderie and friendship? With Krishna in the center. It doesn't become like any Lions Club or things like that where social get-together. No, it's actually serious, in terms of Krishna in the center. So, yeah, that's...
Just one last thing. So as you mentioned in the beginning, appreciation is like everyone's need. So what keeps us going, or how do I say inspire myself in case I don't get appreciation?
So since Damodar Prabhu spoke about that, he should answer this. He's been sitting quiet. You will appreciate his answer now.
Hare Krishna. So, as Radha Gopinath Prabhu wonderfully explained that how we are sentient being, and we all feel encouraged when we are appreciated. We all feel fulfillment when we are loved, when we are respected. We all feel good, including the Lord. Prabhupada would also feel so much encouraged. He would say, I'm feeling so encouraged if you read his letters that you are not distributing the books, that the scientists are accepting the books, our books are being accepted. I'm feeling more encouraged to write. Right? So therefore, we are sentient, so it will naturally be helpful for everyone. Now, if we are not getting it, and we are not thinking, okay, we all need appreciation, but no one is appreciating me. So, whatever we feel lack of, we should start giving it to others. So then, by Krishna's mercy, by the law of reciprocation, so the Lord reciprocates. So then we start giving it, and we will not feel the... And an important thing is, so I heard this from Radhanath Maharaj, he said, so we should give love, encouragement, respect, appreciation to others without the expectation of return. We should give without expectation of return. Then, by Krishna's mercy, his arrangement, we will get beyond our expectation. But we should not expect it. So therefore, let's start giving. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. We have to care for devotees. Tomorrow is working day. You take prasad.
Hare Krishna. Yes, so thank you for...
I'm trying to get the verse, Hiranyaksha's third canto.
Yeah.
It's a very nice purport. Anyway.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for nourishing all of us since yesterday. We're very grateful to all of you. And the question is about, you talked about respect, Prabhuji, where you talked about criticism. So, in a Bhakti Vriksha setup, we have to give feedback sometimes, right?
We have to
Give feedback.
give feedback, yes.
Yeah. So how do we take care that feedback doesn't become a criticism? Because there is a thin line between these two things. Right? How do we take care, and what precautions we should take? That's what I'm trying to understand.
Few things that I've heard about feedback. There is an art of giving feedback, and there is an art of receiving feedback also. First time I heard it was in Mayapur. In Mayapur, and they called it as a feedback sandwich. Before giving a feedback, first genuinely from the core of your heart, tell some positive qualities of that person. Suppose you want to give him feedback about some words that he used in the lecture or some points he made in the lecture while giving a talk or presentation. Example. So first thing, appreciate, Prabhu, the topic that was covered was very good, and especially I like those 2 points that you mentioned about this. And then don't say but. If you say all this is but means erasing everything what you have spoken. And or however, I felt the this specific word that you used probably can be misunderstood by the audience. So probably, you feel. And I feel if this is done, the presentation can go to another level. So end on a positive. Begin with a positive, end on a positive. In between, the feedback should be crisp, to the point and short. It should not that you keep on, it's like a surgery, when you open it and, but you should do it, but whatever you should do, but quick. So I had a surgery, major surgery, 13-inch long surgery, and there was one doctor whose name was Mukesh. He would come, how are you, talk, he would just tear a little bit, the plaster, thick plaster, and he would tear a little, it would take about half an hour. And there was, I know, just by seeing him I would feel, hell will start. And the other fellow came, he was Dr. Farooq. Hey, how are you? Well, he was just talking to me. One shot, yeah, and finished. And I felt really, just pulled it out. So feedback should be like that. Crisp, to the point, done it. And end it on a positive note. Secondly, before giving a feedback, ask 4 questions. Number 1, am I the right person to give the feedback? Have I invested in this person before? If you have not invested in that person, giving a feedback is like emotional withdrawal. It's like a bank account. If I have invested through positive interactions, say 1,000 rupees, $1,000, and giving a feedback means withdrawing $300. Still there is 700. Okay? But if you have not invested in the person, you are not authorized to give him that feedback. If you give, you are going to debt. Your relationship will get strained. Have I invested in that person before? So am I the right person? But if you have invested, if you are the authority who can actually speak and you are confident about you can accept it, then is it the right time? Is it the time? His mood, everything. Is it the right time to give? Is it the right place to give that feedback? And number 4, do I have the right intent? Do I want to bring him down in the eyes of others or to help him improve? Genuinely in the mood of serving so that you can be a better person. Do I have truly that intention in my heart? So if these 4 questions are positive, go ahead and give, no worry. It will be appreciated, in fact. And your relationship will become much more deeper and connect at much more deeper level. But if you have not done this, start doing it first before giving feedback.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. So, let me read this. This is 3:18:6, 3rd canto, 18th chapter, 6th verse. The translation is, although the Lord was pained by the shaft-like abusive words of the demon, this is Prabhu for you. You had asked this question. Although the Lord was pained, can you imagine the Lord was pained by the shaft-like abusive words of the demon? He bore the pain, but seeing that the earth was on the ends of his tusk was frightened, he rose out of the water just as an elephant emerges with its female companion when assailed by an alligator. Purport. The Mayavadi philosopher cannot understand that the Lord has feelings. The Lord is satisfied if someone offers him a nice prayer, and similarly, God is dissatisfied if someone decries his existence or calls him by ill names. Can you imagine? You're feeding someone, you're nourishing, you're maintaining someone, and that person says, you're useless, your existence is no. After doing all of that and for no fault of yours. So, The Supreme Personality of Godhead is decried by the Mayavadi philosophers who are almost demons. They say that God has no head, no form, no existence, no legs, hands, or other bodily limbs. In other words, they say that He is dead or lame. All these misconceptions of the Supreme Lord are a source of dissatisfaction to Him. He is never pleased with such atheistic descriptions. In this case, although the Lord felt sorrow from the piercing words of the demon, He delivered the earth for the satisfaction of the demigods who are ever His devotees. Now, Prabhuji has marked it, underlined it. The conclusion is that God is as sentient as we are. He is satisfied by our prayers and dissatisfied by our harsh words against Him. In order to give protection to His devotee, He is always ready to tolerate insulting words from the atheists. He doesn't care. He feels bad or He doesn't care. He will do the needful. This is a nice. Thank you, Adhikadadar Prabhu, for helping clarify this point.
Guruji, one thing I want to ask is, at Langa devotees will have privilege to have this devotee care seminar.
So this Friday, Saturday, Sunday, are you doing it? Devotee care seminar?
No. The only one we did was in Dallas. They were there, 45 people attended. I mean, we can take only 30. They had 45 people attending for all the 21 hours. Friday 4.5 hours, Saturday and Sunday 8 hours each. It was like a full-fledged session, mainly for basically people in the position of leadership who are taking care of people or taking care of projects which involves people. Because it's a very interactive kind of a session. It's very little speaking, more of activities, more of presentations, more of discussions like that. So this whole trip was actually meant on behalf of the GBC. We are traveling to share this manual that has been brought up by the Devotee Care Committee of GBC. But this time, because not many knew what it is, not even aware of what it is, therefore, this was the whole idea was to kind of sharing with them the need of this for the community. So, of course, that Dallas people knew it already, so they actually arranged for it and they volunteered to organize this. And because there are few there, they called other devotees from nearby. 3-4 temples could probably combine together to, like in New Jersey, they're planning it next time, where they're planning to call the 3 or 4 temples nearby. So there will be, or probably some Detroit, whichever nearby, they're going to call them together and do kind of a combined thing like that. But that's the whole idea. That's how. To develop a shared language. Once they have a shared, this course answers 4 questions. What is devotee care? Why is so important? How it should be implemented? And who is responsible for implementing it? That's the whole idea. And a presentation of a project, how we are going to be doing it. Care recipients and caring areas, like that.
When we can have it here?
Yeah, think about it. For that, I am ready to travel anywhere on this planet, only once, to share that, because it's really worth it.
We'll arrange. I'll be in touch with you. And
Yeah.
we will invite devotees from the nearby temples also.
Yeah, you could coordinate. Damodar Prabhu is
South
coordinator.
Carolina, North Carolina, even Alachua, Orlando.
Yeah, whatever. Think about it. Plan. It's really worth it. It's really worth it, and yeah, people will feel really enthused.
And we have several Bhakti Vrikshas here. So the Bhakti Vriksha leader.
Probably, yeah. Actually, if there are enough people here itself, so we could just to benefit more and more people, then leaders can come. I think we should stop here because otherwise we are speaking about care but not doing devotee care.